Happy Monday! I think it's Monday. Yep, it is. Quick body check time. Quick, wake the body up. Do a little movement, do a little stretching, do a little strengthening maybe. We'll see about that. As usual, I'm here at my 11:11 check time to check in with myself and invite you to join me and check in with yourself if you feel like it. I'm gonna just get warmed up a little with a little more swinging the arms, getting a little twist into the spine. Feeling pretty stiff this morning, as seems to be the usual many mornings. I'm going to take a couple breaths and bring my attention into the bottoms of my feet, root myself into the earth, maybe come up the spine and hang myself from the sky. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. It's good to see some of you out there. Let's roll down. Check in with the spine. Just nice and slow. Coming past the waist all the way to the hips. Aiming the hands for the floor. And just releasing the low back. Releasing the neck. Releasing the belly. Let's come up for a nice self-hug. Left elbow over right. Pulling up in the pelvic floor. Back with the abdomen. Curling the spine. Pulling the shoulder blades apart. Give a nice little rub there in the shoulders. And then releasing all that again from the hips toward the floor. I'm going to add a little weight to the neck, the head and neck, because I'm feeling a little glitchy there this morning. And then come up again this time, right elbow over left. Again, pulling shoulder blades apart. Pulling up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen. Curling the spine and giving myself a nice morning hug. Good morning, self. And then one more time. From the hips, releasing toward the floor. I think I'm going to turn this way and walk the feet back. Putting my weight onto the hands. Pushing back into downward facing dog. Pressing the heels toward the floor, pressing the heart toward the earth. And then I'm going to swing the left leg forward into a nice deep lunge. Let's kind of bounce about there a little bit. Let's straighten that front leg and fold over it for a little extra stretch on the left. And then I'm going to bring weight back onto the hands, bring that foot back. Pressing again into downward facing dog, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing the heart toward the earth, the heels toward the earth, and then I'm going to swing the right foot forward into a nice lunge on that side. Bounce about a little bit there, and then I'm going to straighten that front leg, draping the body over that front leg for a nice extra stretch on the right side. We're going to bring weight on the hands again, pressing back again toward the tailbone. Hi, Sappy Cat. I'm going to have to move this blanket because it's slippery. And pressing the heels toward the earth, blowing in the cat's ear, pressing the heart toward the center of the earth. And I'm going to walk the feet toward the hands and hang here again in a forward fold. I'm going to roll up nice and slow, just checking in with the spine again. Shake that out a little bit. Bending the knees. Let's do some big arm circles. Breathing in on the way up and then out on the way down. And the other way. I can knees if you want, or not if you don't want. Shake that out. Let's do a little check-in with the wrists and fingers. Little circles. And the other way. Shake that out a little bit. Shake out the shoulders. Shake out the head. Shake out the hips. Just letting go of tensions and stresses. Making room for new stresses. It's Monday, so you know they're on their way. I'm going to step back with the left foot first. Pulling that back hip forward. Forward hip back. Tipping the tailbone. Looking for a nice straight line in the spine and abdomen. Relaxing the shoulders, bringing arms up overhead. Just enjoying that for a breath or two. Safi was fast asleep on my bed. She came in to sleep on the blanket on the floor, I guess. It's kind of nice to be closer, huh? Pressing that back heel straight back toward the earth. Checking that the front knee is not crunching past the toes. Try not to fall over. For some reason, I'm a little wobbly today. I'm going to shift this back heel forward a little bit onto the perpendicular line, opening the hips now. And checking out this side plane. Checking in with the fingertips, and then I'm going to slide that back heel out a little more, bending from the hip into a side aeroplane pose, bringing the left hand up, gazing past those fingertips, using my right arm and leg against each other for a little torque, a little twist. Let's increase that twist a little by bringing that left hand around and back, reaching for the thigh, gazing out past that long leg, and then unwinding that, bringing that hand down onto the diagonal, just looking for a nice diagonal line sensation, out my heel, out my fingertips, and then shifting onto the toe of that back leg, bringing that left hand down, both hands on the inside of the right foot, bringing weight onto those hands, bringing that foot back and pressing into downward facing dog or tent position or triangle, maybe an equilateral triangle of sorts. It's probably not quite equilateral, I don't know, might be close. Pressing the heart toward the earth, pressing the heels toward the earth. Firm, strong palms. Try not to slide on the floor. Bend the right knee and press a little more into the left heel. And bend the left heel, pressing into the right. And again, just feeling the hips tip. Feeling a nice stretch through the backs of the legs. On to the right again, and then both sides, pressing both heels down. Tipping the tailbone towards the back of the head. Still try not to slide in the arms. I'm going to bring the body forward, lifting the chest through the arms, making sure not to sink in those shoulders, bringing the legs together, and dropping the belly. Just trying to relax through the low back, through the belly, bringing the eyes up. And then lifting those hips again, pressing back through palms, through arms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head a little bit, pressing the heels toward the earth. I'm going to swing that left foot forward in between the hands for another nice deep lunge. And I'm going to step forward with the back foot. Relax here in a forward fold. Just letting the spine unwind for a breath or two. I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back, come into a little bit of a counter stretch, pushing the hips forward, bringing the eyes up again, and coming back to neutral. shake that out, and then I'm going to step back with the right foot into a nice moderate lunge, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back, looking for a perpendicular line between the hips and the parallel feet, pressing that back heel back, checking that the knee is not crunching past the toes, and bringing the arms up overhead, tipping the tailbone under, looking for a nice straight line through the spine and the abdomen, checking that I'm not crunching the shoulders. And then moving that heel onto the perpendicular line, checking out the side plane here, gazing past fingertips on both sides, sliding that back heel out, bending from the hip into another side aeroplane pose on this side, gazing up past the right fingers this time, and now using my left arm and left leg against each other for some extra torque. Let's bring this hand around the back and reach for that thigh, sliding that back heel out a little bit more and looking out past that long leg. Hi, sassy cat. Unwinding that and bringing that hand down onto the diagonal. Can double as a cat petting post while you do your yoga if you have a cat like my cat friend here, Safi. Bringing this hand down on the inside of the left, shifting onto the toes of that back leg for a nice deep lunge. And I'm going to bring weight onto the hands, bring that back foot back, pressing through the palms, up the arms, up the spine, tilting the tailbone toward the back of the head, and pressing both heels toward the earth. Let's open the hips from there, bringing weight onto the right foot, raising that left foot up first with the hips closed, so just straight up, and then with the hip open, so letting that leg fall over to the right. Look for a little visual confirmation. Sometimes try to do a little ankle rotation, which I find challenging on the diagonal for unknown reasons. I don't think about it too much. I can do it. Let's close that hip again. Just lifting that leg straight up and back. If you have a dome roof like I do, you can walk on the ceiling a little bit. Let's bring that left foot down and shift the weight onto the left. Bringing the right leg up, still with hip closed. Straight up. Pressing through the palms. And then opening that hip, letting the leg fall over to the right. Looking for visual confirmation of toes. Past that left shoulder. And a little ankle rotation. Makes me feel very challenged to do that simple movement at that angle for some reason. Now closing the hip, pressing that leg straight up. And when I say closing the hip, that's bringing that hip back down onto the perpendicular line off the diagonal. Pressing into the left heel. And then bringing that back down. Pressing into both heels. Swing the body forward, bringing the chest through the shoulders. Dropping the belly, bringing the legs together. Gazing up with the eyes. Stretch the tongue a little bit there, if you feel like it. And then lifting the hips again, pressing back, stepping forward with that right foot in between the hands. Gonna eke it up. And a nice bouncy lunge on that side. Only bounce if that feels good to you. And then shifting the back foot forward. And hanging here again in forward fold. Just letting the spine unwind with gravity. And again, I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back, come into a counter stretch, pushing those hips forward, and coming back to neutral. Shake that out a little bit. I'm going to bring arms behind back for a little more stretching there. Pressing palms, bringing elbows towards each other, pulling shoulders towards each other, making sure not to lock the knees and bending from the hips with a relatively straight back down to wherever is comfortable. And then doing a little active stretching still, using the muscles of the arms to pull towards each other, maybe drawing an imaginary straight line behind myself or above myself with those fingers. Let's go over to the left a little bit, and over to the right, and then back to central. And then I'm going to relax the arms but keep the hands clasped. Just let gravity do some work for some passive stretching. High cat butt. And then pulling again actively, pressing palms, bringing shoulder blades and elbows towards each other. And then again passively just relaxing the arms, keeping hands clasped. Trying to relax in the belly and the back. One more time, pulling the arms towards each other actively. And then releasing that. Now letting the elbows fall away from each other, bringing the hands down to the low back. Let's do a nice body check. To the sound of some soft cat purrs. I'm going to come down the backs of the legs. Check in with the hamstrings. Check in with the backs of the knees. Backs of calves. Backs of ankles. Around the front to check in with the toes. Hey toes. Hey kitty. Check in with the fronts of the ankles and the shins and the knees. Rolling up now. Checking in with the thighs and the hips. Just giving the body a little love, a little check. Coming in around the belly, around the torso. Give the organs a little tap, tap. Thank you. Checking in with the chest, and let's smooth down the arms, just encouraging the release and relaxation and balancing of energy down each arm. My hands have been going numb a lot lately, so it's good practice to try to balance that energy, dislodge stagnation and stuckiness and stickiness. Let's do some face smoothing. Finish that off. I like to go up the face and down the back of the head, but some people like to go from the top of the face down. Can experiment with both of those, see if one feels better than the other. Just releasing all that excess stagnant energy back to the universe to be recycled. Let's do just a little bit of balancing. I'm going to bring my weight onto the right side, bring the left knee up toward left shoulder. You try bringing the left shoulder down to the knee, but I think it's easier to bring the knee up to the shoulder. Tucking the pelvis a little bit, tipping the tailbone under, relaxing that supporting foot and knee, and then reaching for the bottom of this foot. Straighten that out as much as possible for a nice forward fold standing. You could do this laying down as well. As I like to mention, whatever works for you, bringing that out to the side. Try not to counter lean too much, but using support if need be. Gonna just wiggle that around a little bit, looking for a little checking in with the range of motion in the hip. And I'm gonna do a little ankle rotation in the front while I'm here, and then set that down. Bringing weight onto left side, relaxing that foot and knee, and bringing the right knee up toward right shoulder. Tipping the tailbone under, making sure that supporting leg is not locked. And then reaching for the bottom of the right foot. Bringing that up as straight as possible. Getting a nice stretch through the back of the leg. And a nice practice in stability on that supporting side. Bringing that over to the side. And again, I'm just going to explore that range of motion in the hip a little bit and stretching through the back of that leg. Let's bring that down and do a little ankle rotating on that side for good measure. Stamp that out. Shake it out. Let's do one slow push-up, shall we? You can do two if you want. I'm just going to do one for good measure. Coming into first a nice plank position, holding the belly up, holding the feet together and legs together, making sure the arms are under shoulders, and then down nice and slow. Maybe you could count to 3 and then hovering above the ground, maybe for 3, and then pressing up again nice and slow. I probably should be doing 3 of those, but I'm just going to do 1 for right now. Let's do another pushing back, tailbone toward back of head, and then walking these feet forward toward feet, hands. Bending the knees, swinging the arms up, coming back to neutral. Do a little clap snap, check in with the hands and fingers, which are still stiff. I'm going to sign off and get to my inversion. I wish you a fabulous, fantastic, fun Monday. Magnificent Monday. Don't forget to take care of you. Smile, play. It's good to see some of you out there. Greg, hi. Good to see ya. Peace.